What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today we're reacting to 8 WWE busts who revived their careers. Now we've seen it so many times in the world of professional wrestling, not even just in WWE, where they usually have a lot of stars who pretty much seem like they're destined to fail, but something happens along the way where they're able to figure it out, whatever the case may be. Sometimes it might be bad creative that they're given, or bad booking, and sometimes it seems like it's the downfall of their career where they might be just future endeavored at any moment, but at some point they turn it all around and they become bigger than we can ever expect. I feel like there's so many different examples that have fit that. I mean, we're already seeing it right now with Rhea Ripley. We've seen what she was doing before joining Judgment Day. Her joining the Judgment Day helped her career to reach that next level. We've seen with Liv Morgan when she did the whole revenge tour thing. I think situations like that have definitely elevated their careers in the grand scheme of things. But we're going to look at a couple of examples from What Culture Wrestling. But comment down below, let me know what are some your wrestlers that you feel were destined to fail, but ultimately revive their careers. But we're not gonna waste any more time. We're gonna get into it right here, and let's get into it.
Don't write people off because let's face it, we're all gonna fall down. Every one of us. It's just how life works, so somebody does find themselves struggling. Maybe give them some time. They may be ready soon enough to come back swinging. This has happened time and time again in wrestling, and we really don't appreciate it enough. Having to do this sort of comeback in front of a live audience is a totally different challenge, and yet they did it. Proved everybody wrong, and to be honest, some of the following had a bad rap anyway. So are you ready to go? Tough luck, because let's go. Number 8, Naomi. I find it a little bit infuriating Naomi is in this list. She was never a bust. She was moved into the wrong position, though, and for a long-ass time was left there. I mean, talk about ignoring potential. I mean, let's go back to 2020. She was with real-life husband Jimmy Uso on screen as Mandy Rose tried to seduce him. It's very redundant. We don't need weird romance nonsense like this in wrestling. Why don't you actually sit down and come up with a creative
And
plan?
here's the thing with that, like that storyline, it didn't really hit. I mean, I would agree that like the whole storyline with Mandy and Otis was a lot more intriguing than this, but that's just my personal opinion on it. Um, Naomi around this time they really weren't doing anything. She was just kind of floating, and then when you kind of put her in um when she left and went to TNA, that really helped revive her career. When she came back, I think she was bigger than we could have ever imagined her being. So shout out to her for going out on making a name for herself and really showing that she could still go with the very best. And now she's currently, right now, at the time of recording this video, your women's world champion. And she has a title defense coming up against none other than Stephanie Valcour at Clash in Paris. So it seems like they have big plans for her, for Stephanie, and big plans for Naomi. So we'll see how everything ends up playing out when in a couple of weeks.
She did win the SmackDown Women's title in 2018, but that was just a weird time all round. In 2019, she took some time off for herself. It's not the worst idea. 2019 is one of the worst WWE years ever. The
Yeah.
proof that Naomi at her core had connected, though, is proven at the following Royal Rumble, where she got a massive surprise return pop, and then, yes, she just lost. She lost and she lost again. I remember joking about this on Ups and Downs. After a while, the story felt like it was just Lacey Evans wins, lol. It was a bit out of whack. 2022 saw her start that tag team with Sasha Banks, which was actually great. And then, yeah, something happened backstage that we still don't really know about, which led to both exiting the company.
Imagine being able
Bro.
to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation.
Yeah, she left the company
Huge at
and
the
did great
time, and given the
things.
controversy, nobody really knew what Naomi's future was. Turned out she went to TNA and kind of reinvented herself in many ways before yet another Royal Rumble surprise return in 2024. And maybe overdoing it, but it felt like she had a renewed confidence. And by the summer, not only did she win the Money in the Bank briefcase, she cashed it in to become the champion. She also had an awesome heel turn before that to become incredibly entertaining. And everything that they did with the big three was good too. Basically, Naomi has turned herself into a monster, and you damn right. Just goes to show sometimes you do gotta bet on yourself. That's what she did. She then received all the success. Number 7, Rhea Ripley. So this was more of a blip, but you can see the reactions after.
I mean, I literally said it. She came up to NXT. She From NXT, she was doing some great stuff in NXT, mind you. If you guys haven't seen some of the stuff that she did, the match she had with Shayna Baszler was really good. The stuff that she did in NXT UK was really good. But it seems like when she got to the main roster, WWE didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what they had when they had Rhea Ripley um, first get brought up. I think she even said in an interview where she said that the WWE didn't know what to do. They didn't know if she was a heel or a face. Vince didn't know that either, and he pretty much made her um, a face when I think she said she's more heel like. Um, I think it was something along the lines of that. Y'all can comment down below, let me know if I'm wrong, but it was something along the lines of that, and pretty much she wasn't really feeling it too much. Um, but yeah, I think just her joining the Judgment Day, I think, is what really catapulted her career to that next gear. Like the stuff that she was doing in the Judgment Day, her being with Dominic Mysterio, that partnership, her winning the World Rumble, her facing Charlotte Flair, that whole time doing 23 has elevated her to that next level. And it's like she became so popular, like people weren't booing her anymore. They didn't want to boo her anymore. They made her into a face, and from there she's became this megastar in not just the women's division but WWE as a whole. So just seeing the rise from where she was a couple of years ago to where it's now, it's been really, really special, man. And looking forward to see what they do with her next. I know she recently took the pin at SummerSlam, so I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll do a feud between her and Io. Maybe they do a partnership with her and Io, maybe going after the tag titles, because the tag team division is somewhat kind of starting to get some attention. And I think having Io and Rhea go after those tag titles will be something really intriguing to see happen. So I think there's something to do for her there. And then you still have Clash and coming up, and then you have Crown Jewel, which will be in Perth, Australia, and I do expect her to potentially get back into contention for the world title and potentially win it around this time. So we'll see how everything plays up, but definitely her rise to being where she is now has definitely been really special.
WrestleMania 36. Didn't help this thing went down in a warehouse, but Rhea Ripley lost to Charlotte Flair, and given this was meant to be her big arrival to the main roster, well, it was strange. We'd essentially put her on the back foot. She also lost the NXT Women's title, so when she returned to NXT, she was in a weird kind of limbo. Sort of in between what was and what was about to be. So why come 2022, she was thrown into a random tag team with Liv Morgan in the most Vince McMahon decision ever.
Yeah.
You've got two people who could be stars, push them together. Actually tied into what Ripley herself talked about on the Chris Van Vliet show. Vince felt like she looked like a heel, therefore she was a heel, even though fans loved her, as did the rest of management. They knew Rhea Ripley, the bad guy as she was miscast. A proper heel turn to join Edge's Judgment Day was also funny. That was about the group itself more than her, because boom, WWE got new powers in control, the rated R superstar left this stable, and Rhea Ripley like a rocket took off. I mean, the stuff with Dominic, the way she held herself, essentially becoming the de facto leader, even though women didn't usually get that role. I mean, that's another story for another day, but Rhea just took over. The whole time she was having bangers too, but this sort of allowed the great audience to take notice of this, and look what happened ever since. Forget about being one of the biggest names in WWE, she's going to explode further and likely take over normal life.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. All our peers say it too, and that's not because it's a fun thing to say, it's because it's obvious. The connection she has with the crowd is second to none, and some of those pops. Her track record of big matches too is ridiculous, and given Rhea isn't even 30 yet, we are just getting started. So there we are again. Let people have a few fumbles when they're super young and finding their way. As awful as it is to say, because I sound like an Instagram post, it's all part of the journey. Number 6, Liv Morgan. We just mentioned Liv Morgan, and it was kind of the same deal. That's why she was part 2 of that tag team.
Dude, and I even said it earlier, like, if you guys haven't been following my career, like, people know that I'm a big Liv Morgan fan, and just seeing the rise that she's had from being pretty much enhancement talent back down in NXT to joining the Riot Squad, to the Riot Squad pretty much breaking up and pretty much being the sole survivor of that faction. It seemed as if they were trying to do something with her, or could have done something with her back then. They were kind of just having her floating. And it seems like she's been floating for a lot of her career, where it's like at any moment she could be on the list to be cut at any given moment. And for that not to happen, but for her to not only go through all of that, but to very well now be one of the biggest stars in WWE. Like, you, of course, you're gonna say Bianca, Rhea Ripley, Io, Jade, Naomi, but like people seem to be still sleeping on Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan has really elevated her career to this next level where she's a top star at this point. Like the stuff that she did in the she's been doing in the Judgment Day. Her storyline joining the Judgment Day was really good. The execution of her being part of the Judgment Day with being the new girlfriend of Dominic Mysterio was executed great in the way they did it at SummerSlam. Her matches that she's been having has definitely improved. The match quality has improved. Her promo skills improved. Her storylines have improved. All around, she has improved. Like literally this last 2 years, she has been on the run of her career. And it sucked that she went down with the injury through all of that because who's to say what she could be doing right now? She could be women's champion. She could be in the contention for the women's championship. We don't know. I know they were telling the story between her and Roxanne, and that potentially leading to something down the line. Maybe it could have been something at SummerSlam, and it also sucks that she wasn't able to make SummerSlam because I feel like she would have gotten a huge, a standing ovation from the crowd just being part of that and just being from Jersey, the Jersey area. So it kind of sucked that that kind of just goes down as like a missed opportunity that WWE can capitalize on, but maybe there's more that we don't know. But yeah, man, she's definitely elevated her career to levels that I don't think many people expected her to reach by any means. And I feel like whenever she does come back, I feel like we're going to pick up where she left off, and she's going to probably be a bigger star than she's probably ever imagined herself being. And for the fans of her like myself, hey, we might be in for a treat when she comes back and potentially doing something really big because I think her injury says she's not going to be back till December or January. So we'll have to see. But I do expect them to do big things potentially for her when she does come back.
It just felt like WWE didn't know how to use her. Remember that terrible Money in the Bank cash-in when nobody knew how to book Liv? She was essentially a babyface that cheated and then pretended she didn't, so she was a heel.
They should have turned her heel back then.
All right then. Thankfully, nobody gave up because in 2024, along with our old friend Rhea Ripley needing a feud, Morgan took on this new role where she seduced Dominic Mysterio, and man, she was great. Aside from nailing the character, her matches improved no end, and by the end of the year, she was one of the best all-round workers in WWE. Everything she did got a reaction too, and you could see the company relying on her more and more. She could definitely do it. Her selling in matches took a massive step up too, and I suppose after years of getting experience, Liv Morgan just put it all together. She became a superstar who could get heat just by walking to the ring. It was going to be the same in 2025 too, because the fans were enjoying her so much. And then she got injured. That sucked. But we were already thinking about a babyface turn, so when she does come back, bam, you can do it. With all of that too, her and Raquel Rodriguez were great tag team champions. They were only let down due to WWE's failure to book the belts properly. Anytime they were on TV, they just smashed it. She's another one that's only going to improve as we do move forward as well. I mean, talk about putting in the time. She debuted years ago, and now, I tell you, she is an important part of the wheel. Number 5, Sami Zayn. We had a counter. That's right. On my stupid
this is a good one.
ups and downs back in like 2018, Sami Zayn had his own loss counter because he never won, and I mean that literally. It was a running joke, and Vince McMahon always cast him as the bumbling heel as he was defeated over and over again. And if you were an El Generico fan, you were flabbergasted. On the indies, Sami Zayn had been a game changer. He, of course, still played the role of the villain brilliantly because that's what he does. Even that ridiculous conspiracy stuff was good.
Yeah,
And
I
he
enjoyed
had
that
to do
stuff.
That electric chair. Remember that? When he dared mention AEW? What the flub are we doing? Then at WrestleMania 38, he was put against Johnny Knoxville, and this guy, despite working with the Jackass crew, who were not wrestlers, he structured one of the most entertaining matches you could ever hope to see. For what it was meant to be, it was perfect. Fans loved it too. This led to somebody backstage deciding him and Bloodline Nina Roman Reigns would be fun for one episode of SmackDown. When, yep, it was so good we did it again and again until we just put Sammy in the group. Think what an inspired change that was. A game-changing decision. Because without that, do the Bloodline go through the emotions they do? I doubt it. It also led to that 2023 Elimination Chamber match with Roman.
Bro,
And even though we were
this match was a banger of a match. It was an instant classic match. Like the storyline that they were telling, Sami Zayn when he literally planted the chair in Roman Reigns back at Royal Rumble 2023, that crowd went ballistic. That crowd erupted. That crowd reached a new gear just for that moment that people still remember to this very day. People still talk about it. And then the story that we were telling, Sami Zayn wants that title. He wants to take down Roman Reigns, and the fans were behind him. I have not seen Sami Zayn be this over at that point in time for a while. I think the last time he was probably getting pops like this was maybe like 2016, 2017. Like that's how long it's been since he was getting pops that mega. And I don't even think even then they were that over. He was that over. Maybe in an NXT, but main roster wise, this is probably the most over he's been. And then this match was really good. The fans being a part of it made it even better. And that's why I always say sometimes fans can make or break matches just for their overall involvement. And the crowd wanted Sami Zayn. They were pro Sami Zayn. This was like CM Punk and John Cena all over again, where if Sami Zayn lost, they rioted. And when Roman Reigns retained, it's like the air got sucked out of the crowd. It was nothing there. That crowd was done. That crowd was literally in awe. They were in shock at what they just witnessed because the guy that they wanted didn't win it. But we all knew that it was going to lead to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. But they were literally pulling for the audible of the century, or the audible of probably one of the biggest audibles of all time, with Sami Zayn beating Roman Reigns a month before WrestleMania and walking into Mania as champion. Would I have been mad at it? No. I wouldn't have been mad at it by any means. I would have not blinked an eye if they would have gave it to Sami. Because I was actually one of those people that was considering wanting to see Sami. But we knew what WWE was trying to do. They wanted to build up Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. And unfortunately, Sami Zayn was pretty much left by the wayside. But he did have that banger tag team match with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 39 in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1.
Away from WrestleMania 39, fans wanted Sami to be the guy to end Reigns' massive title run. Talk about a turnaround. And even though he wasn't able to do that, you couldn't hold him back. He had that excellent Intercontinental title win against Gunther on the Show of Shows. These days, he's an integral part of everything. In fact, a lot of what WWE is doing wouldn't work without him. It also meant the Mania 39 Night 1 tag match happened, which is also, in terms of modern times, a proper classic.
Yeah.
So from 2019, where his role was "you're going to lose all the time," to someone who likely will become a world champion at some point, just amazing. Something we should all remember. If you've got the talent, you just never know. Number 4, Karrion Kross. What an amazing time he has had in WWE. He was the man in NXT and smashing people. The internet...
Bro, this is another one, bro. I mean, it seemed like they have been very inconsistent with Karrion. Like, they brought him back after being released the first time around. He get brought back. They look like they're about to put him in a feud with Roman Reigns. He literally looks at Roman Reigns and says, TikTok. Pretty much insinuating that we were going to potentially lead to a potential feud between Karrion and Roman, which would have been a great way to bring him back. They didn't follow up on it. He had a great feud with Drew McIntyre. Interesting. Gave him something to do. He had a win over Drew McIntyre on a pay-per-view. And then goes back down the card and floundering again. Doesn't get really used until last year for Mania when you when you had him be part of the Final Testament and the leader of that. That didn't go anywhere. They got a Mania spot, but they didn't do anything. AOP still got released. Then you kind of had him be like the devil on people's shoulder, having he's the reason people turn heel. I wouldn't mind that. But then again, it didn't really lead to anything substance and for him except for corrupting people. But like in ring wise, he didn't really do anything. It was mainly just being in backstage segments, sometimes of which were not even featured on the show at all. If you have like the VPNs and stuff, you were able to see it. But outside of that, you didn't really see him as much. And then this year, he finally gets something going, and with Sammy, which has been taking place over the last couple of weeks, and then now potentially not getting re-signed to the company. I believe at the time of recording this video, his contract ends this week on Friday or something like that, or this weekend. And right now, WWE has not even approached him with a contract offer to potentially resign. Like, Karrion Kross is a great talent, a great and you can have on your roster. Do you have to make him a world champion? No. But at least, at the very least, give him some good storylines that us fans who are fans of him and want to be fans of him can sink our teeth into. And then, like, putting him in storylines where he can maybe chase for gold. Let him go after the U.S. title. Let him go after the Intercontinental title. And if he gets that over like he's been, at least test him out and see if he can become a world champion. Put him on, make him a world champion. See how it plays out. That's the one thing I like about NXT is that they're not afraid to try new things, to test things out. But we all know when it comes to TKO, it's about what makes them the most money. And if they feel you're not making them a lot of money, then they pretty much can care less about you. But that's kind of just dumb because he literally was like one of their top merch sellers over the last few weeks, and now he has a book coming out. Are we serious? So I don't know. Maybe they can change that in the coming weeks for sure.
The wrestling community didn't like him. I suppose the third brand was seen as the indie territory for WWE. Cross was more of a main roster guy. Then he moved to Raw and Vince McMahon ignored everything we did before this and had him lose to Jeff Hardy on his debut. Scarlett was then taken out of the act and we got Cross to dress like some sort of a gimp. It was really bad. Then he got released. It wasn't until Triple H took over that we gave him the big return, and since then it's also been weird. He's always been there doing kind of good stuff, but he wasn't overly focused on. And his Final Testament group was okay, but sort of as before. They did some stuff. I wouldn't call them a dominant act. Then from nowhere, he started to cut these super intriguing promos on social media and in short segments on Raw, and yeah, people gravitated towards him, especially when Karrion went off on Logan Paul after WrestleMania. That was great. It meant that come the summer of 2025, he was just a compelling character and had that feud with Sami Zayn. Even got on SummerSlam, so what a 180 that is. From being let go after the worst outfit change ever to being one of the under-the-radar dudes that people are desperate to see more of. You got to give him and Scarlett credit because that doesn't just happen. He took everything he had learned from day one and made it click. Genuinely, I've no idea what he's doing right now. And that's not just because I record these a few weeks before they do go live, but because Karrion Kross cannot be predicted. Sort of marches to the beat of his
I
own
hope he
drum.
gets resigned though.
Damn good
I really do. I really hope he gets resigned. I really hope he gets resigned.
Come on, man. They're coming straight in. Trust me. I've got... No?
Number 3, Dominic Mysterio.
I really hope Karrion gets resigned, bro. It'll be a huge loss if WWE loses a guy like that just to being petty.
Another guy I wouldn't call a bust because he was so young, there was always Thie. When he was just the babyface kid of Rey Mysterio, though, nobody really knew what Dominic's future would be. He had a decent
This is one of the biggest examples of that. Just being known as Rey Mysterio's son to being one of the biggest heels in WWE to betraying his love interest to becoming Intercontinental Champion at WrestleMania. What more can I say? Had a great match with Seth Rollins. Became floundering. Made the biggest change of his career, and it helped him out.
Debut was Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, but he was very much in the shadow of his father. He sort of faded into the background. He was just a bit wet behind the ears. Then we turned him heel, and don't get me wrong, nobody thought WWE would do that. And even if you did, nobody thought it would work as well as it has. This dude just went nuts. It wasn't an overnight thing either, even though the Clash at the Castle turn was great and got mega heat. Dom had justified all this, and he did so alongside Rhea Ripley and the Judgment Day. Talked about them already. He genuinely couldn't have done this better. Just to underline it, he's also had 2 massive WrestleMania moments already as well. The entrance when he fought his dad was all time, and the Intercontinental title win was amazing. That pop, man. He even got sent back to the ring to soak it in. Mysterio really is improving all the time too, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. If anything, he will likely be a future world champion, and every fan will be in agreement. Nobody was saying that a few years ago, so fair play to this guy. He is a template in how to get yourself over and embrace the unknown. Let's sum it up in 3 simple words. Dominic Mysterio rules. Number 2, Nathan Frazier. When Nathan Frazier got into WWE, his big line was, "I'm really fast." And look, he was really fast. It was something to mention, but we kind of made this his whole personality, like he was Sonic. Where we were at the time, it felt like a bad move.
Not them putting a Sonic mask on him.
He had real street cred too outside of WWE because he was Ben Carter on the Indies, plus he was an early Seth Rollins trainee. Ain't getting any bad students from that school, but something was still missing in 2023. Nathan was also a former football prodigy, so he had more to his game, but when he mentioned that, well, it was the same deal. Why don't you go live your dreams and all that? It just sounded like you'd given him a script, and then he met Axiom. I suppose you could put him in here as well, but having them as a misfit tag team that sort of loved and hated each other was just so much fun. It also allowed Frazier to have a chip on his shoulder. This was way better than before because he felt like a real person. Screw all this, I want to fly as high as possible, and I'm so happy to be here right now. Instead, we were all like, man, flub you, I'm going to do anything I can do. Then he'd yell at Axiom for accidentally kicking him in the face or something. Somehow Nathan was both jovial and a little bit of a dick, and I mean that in the best way possible. And it's why when they got to SmackDown, it worked. The act was well cooked and not rushed, and they'd sorted the personality side out too. I genuinely hope WWE never breaks them up. I find them most fun and damn entertaining. Number 1, Triple H. So this is a weird one, but I think Triple H has earned some praise that has got lost recently, and I get that too, it's the nature of the beast. But the debut of NXT Black and Gold and the subsequent evolution was awesome. Triple H looked at the wider industry and decided he should ape that, as then WWE could cater to all audiences. You know the deal, it worked, and the word was even the main roster was annoyed, because those in NXT seemed to have more freedom. And then 2022 rolled around. After a battle with AEW, it felt like Vince McMahon wasn't pleased that Paul Levesque hadn't fought them off, so he was moved into a lesser role. WWE acted like this wasn't true, but go and watch the show, you can quite literally see things changed. The game then had a proper health scare with his heart, and as always, there's nothing more important than that. And he came through it. Again, thank goodness for that. But his role in WWE seemed like it had been diminished further. Go look at NXT 2.0. He didn't have anything to do with all of that, and it all shifted again. We don't have time to get into it here, but the Vince McMahon scandal drop, which saw a huge changing of the guard, and Triple H being anointed in the creative chair he had been studying for years. Regardless what you think of the current WWE product, it did lead to a boom period for the company and some stories that were awesome. The Bloodline was right in the middle of that. Given that we had the pandemic and that awful 2019, this was actually way more needed than people realize. Triple H steered the ship through a fantastic time period. Such momentum was always going to cool off because that's life, but fair play all round. He basically turned the corner after being in the worst position any human being could be. That really is amazing, so yeah, kudos to that guy. I assume we're only just getting started. Know any other wrestlers that basically turned their career around from nowhere? Make sure you let us know in the comments below before you like the video, share the video, and damn it, subscribe.
Yeah, man. I mean, what more is there anything to be said? These men and women were able to go out and change their careers, and that's always a great thing to see. Maybe in the next couple of months and weeks, we could see other wrestlers be able to do the same thing, where it looks like they were on the way out, but they were able to change their careers and do some really big things, and that's all we can really much expect. But y'all comment down below, let me know. How do you guys feel about this list? Do you guys think a lot of these people made sense, What are your favorite moments for some of these wrestlers if you guys are familiar with them? Let me know in the comment section down below as well. Road to 2,000. Ultimate goal is 10,000 by the end of 2025. More content will be on the way for you guys. Super click that like button, Superman punch, that post notification bell, and spirit the subscribe button. Takes 3 seconds out of your day. Do those 3 things for me. Helps in the progression of my channel as well. But with that being said, hope everyone's a great day, great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.